Shalom, Yashrawala. This your brother Dawud Da, coming from GMS Tampa Bay 07, coming at you with another video. First and foremost, I want to give all praises unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shah, double honors to the apostles and elders of great millstone that rule well. And salutations to you, I can pushing this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth. Alright, we're going to get into this here lesson, dealing with the wickedness of Esau, alright? So, I got a couple of scriptures here, nothing really in any real particular order, more or less to say, but we're going to just get into some of the things, some of the wickedness, just a piece of the wickedness that Esau, was into, We could basically be here for years on end talking about the wickedness of Esau, but, this is just a little quick little snippet of some of the things, Esau was getting into. But nevertheless, we're going to just jump right on into it, all right? This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1. Now, the book of Maccabees, for you Akim or you brothers who don't know, the book of Maccabees is in the section called the Apocrypha, okay? So in your Bible, if you was to go and get a 1611 Bible or you can get the 1611 Bible app, it'll be in there. So you'll have the New Testament, as you see on the screen here. You have the New Testament, or the Old Testament, Slakia. You have the New Testament. But however, in the 1611 Bible, before they took out the Apocrypha, you would have the Old Testament, the Apocrypha, then the New Testament. So we scroll down, these are the books of the Apocrypha right here. All right, we're going to jump into the book of First Maccabees. All right, this is Maccabees chapter 1, and let's just start at the top. All right, it says, actually, I'm not going to start there. I'm going to start, I'm going to get this first. This is the book of Job, chapter 9, verse 24. It says, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Okay? A couple of things in the scripture. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. So, basically, the earth is under rulership under the wicked, The Most High gave possession to the devil, when when Yahweh Shah was walking the earth, you had Satan tempting him, Satan was like, look, all of these kingdoms are mine, and if you just basically bow down and worship me, I'll give you these kingdoms, And Yahweh Shah didn't rebuttal with nothing like you lying, these ain't your kingdoms or nothing like that, He was just basically saying, look, he gave him certain, I believe he said, supposed to worship the Most High and worship him only, more or less, He came with him with a couple of different things, He was like, look, if you're hungry, turn these stones into food, or in the bread. Yahweh Shah replied, man should not live by bread alone, but by every word of the Most High, But nevertheless, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, okay? And it also says, he covereth the faces of the judges thereof, okay? And who are the main judges, or who are the judges? The Israelites, okay? He covered up our faces by, whitewashing the images. And Psalms 83, come let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel shall be no more in remembrance, okay? And the main judge that they covered up is, you go in any church, you just, if you're not in this truth, if you're just coming into this, when you see that picture, who you think of as Jesus Christ, that's covering the faces of the judges thereof, They didn't cover his face. They just took it's like, you have the actual image, for instance, right? You know what Bill Gates looked like, right? Let's say I was to sit there and take a picture of myself and put my name up under there as being Bill Gates, and showing everybody that I'm Bill Gates under my own image. It's not that I took and drew or fucked up picture of Bill Gates, and the picture was a little off, but it was a depiction of Bill Gates. No, I put my own picture up, of me, and just claimed that I was Bill Gates. That's what they did over here. They basically they wound up covering up, not covering, but changing. They painted a picture of what's his name, Cesare Borgia. Okay, I believe he was the 212th Pope of 212th Pope. What's his name? Rodrigo Borgia. Nevertheless, that was who they painted that image and the likeness of. All right. So back in Job, it's Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he?
It's like a rhetorical question. Like, if this ain't the wicked, this is a dead giveaway to who the wicked is, So the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. So who's controlling the earth? Okay? Then also, who covered up the faces of the judges? And like, if that ain't him, then who is? And where is he at, Like, if this ain't the wicked, then we in for some real shit, because if this just child's play into what the wicked's supposed to be doing, we all fucked, Because we can't even stand, any more days up under the rulership of Esau and his wickedness, It's just worse and worse and worse, If he ain't the wicked, who is? And not only that, like, okay, the scriptures say he covered the faces of the judges thereof, and if you try to say the Chinese is the wicked, well, how come Yahweh Shai ain't depicted as a Chinese man or Arab man? Let's say that the Arabs is the wicked. Some of you goddamn Edomites out here talking about Esau is Esau, like Saudi Arabia is Esau. But okay, well, where's the Saudi Arabian image of Yahweh Shai at? We see the Edomite version of it, and we also see these Edomites on top, So like the scriptures say, if not, who and where is he, Jumping over to 1 Maccabees chapter 1. And we're going to get into, like I just said, the earth was given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof, okay? And now we're going to read over here in 1 Maccabees 1:1. And it happened. What happened? This is where we get into the earth being given into the hands of the wicked. And also where he's starting to cover the faces of the judges, okay? This is how it started off, and it happened. This is the shit that it's talking about, that it happened, okay? And after that, Alexander, the son of Philip, okay, the Macedonian. Now, one of the main reasons that this apocrypha was taken out was because this type of information in there, A lot of people like to say that the Bible is fairy tales and this and that because of their poor understanding of certain things and their lack of diligence of looking into the scriptures, and also that the Most High didn't put that spirit on them, People will love to say that, oh, well, the Bible is fake, it's a fairy tale, none of those places in the Bible actually exist, And that's because of their lack of understanding. As a really small kid, I was a really, really young kid, and I believe it was like the first time I actually opened up the Bible to actually read it as a little kid, and I was just scrolling through the Bible or whatnot, and I happened to come across the name of, I believe, Rome and Greece. When I first seen those two names, I jumped, and I was like, wait a minute, these is real places. This ain't no fairy tale place, I hadn't seen Babylon in there, but I ain't never heard of no place called Babylon, when I was a real little kid, Never heard of no place like that, but I heard of Rome and Greece. I was like, wait a minute, these places kind of real, But as you read through all this stuff, you can Google search any of these people, and it's going to tell you the exact same thing, So, for those scoffers out there saying there ain't no proof of the Bible, there ain't no outside evidence of the Bible, actually this is basically information in the source that's more or less outside of the Bible that they are incorporating in the Bible, more or less to say, Because, the Bible basically is centered around the Israelites. Now, the Israelites was up under or in this scenario, so they was, it was written about that way, but also you actually have real history that's so-called non-religious, more or less, for lack of better terms. And I'll just get into it. It says, and it happened after that, Alexander, the son of Philip. Okay? Now, if you was to Google search Philip, or let me see, after that, Alexander, the son of Philip the Macedonian, okay? If you was to look up Philip the Macedonian on Google, you know what I'm saying, or some shit like that, Wikipedia, they'll give you an image and a background and history of this guy. And they'll tell you he was from Macedonia. He was building up his military to go to war against the Grecians because he wanted to be a Grecian that bad, He wanted to go over there and dominate them people and take over their land, But he wound up dying in the process of building up, and his son wound up taking over, and his son was Alexander, okay? Alexander is the same person you learn about in school, Alexander, what they call Alexander the Great, or Alexander the Greek, And they say all modern civilization started with the Grecians, And which, this is just lies. Maybe their civilization started like that, but these are all lies, because like here in America, okay, you go to the courthouse, you see these buildings, right? And how the courthouse is built, in these pillars that's up on these buildings. You go into ancient Rome, you see the same shit in their buildings, the design of their buildings with the same as pillars, right? Those Roman pillars. Then you go back in history before that, you see those same Roman-ass pillars in Greece called Grecian pillars. Then you go back in history before all of that, way back, and in Egypt, you see those same fucking pillars. Okay, you see a lot of the same stuff. This is where they get a lot of that stuff from. So they didn't, Egypt was there way before Greece was even, popping like that, We reading about the first time Greece was actually coming up and becoming prominent as Greece as you know it as of today. This happened, I believe, in like the year 330 or 332 BC or something like that, in like the year 300 BC. This is when all this happened. And it happened after that. Alexander, the son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chittim, had smitten Darius, the king of the Persians and the Medes, and reigned in his stead the first over Greece. Okay, the first over Greece. Greece was already there, okay? But he was the first Edomite king over Greece, and also this is more or less a change in time. Beforehand, you had the actual Grecians, the original Grecians living over there, but, as of today, not as of today, but as of that time, even until today, those people don't live over there no more. You have these Edomites living over there, okay? And also another historical factor, you can look at the world power at that point in time. You had the Medes and the Persians. You had Darius or Darius, the king over Medo-Persia, and then he wound up being slain by Alexander, and, this is a non-biblical source or something, people like I said, people like to say it's a fairy tale and stuff like that, Well, if you was to claim that the Bible is fake and fantasy and fairy tales, you know what I'm saying, then that so-called fake fictitious character that you honor and you all that stuff about Alexander the Greek, he got to be fake because he was written about in the Bible, Same with Darius and Cyrus and Xerxes, you done seen the movie about him, Nevertheless, it says, and it happened after that, Alexander, the son of Philip, the Macedonian who came out of the land of Chittim, had smitten Darius the king of the Persians and the Medes, and he reigned in his stead the first over Greece. And he made many wars and won many strongholds and slew the kings of the earth. Okay? So, we just did a lesson about Esau and his characteristics of how he was given that sword. That was his blessing, And they like a warlike people, man. All they like to do is just goddamn war, kill, death and hell follow them. That's man, everywhere he go, he spread death and hell, It says, and many wars and made many wars and won many strongholds and slew the kings of the earth. Okay? And went through the ends of the earth and took spoils of many nations. Insomuch the earth was quiet before him, whereupon he was exalted, and his heart was lifted up. Okay? So, and, if you go in history and read, basically the same account that we just read in verse 3, they speak about this in regular history. You read about it, it says, and went through the ends of the earth and took spoils and many nations, and so much the earth was quiet before him. And also it said he made wars with many people, or with many nations and stuff, right? When I was reading about this in actual history, growing up in school and stuff, it was like, Alexander made war with every damn body around about him, He came out the hole and he just started slaying real quick, in a short amount of time. He wound up subduing, that whole major part of the globe at that point in time. It said he wound up killing so many damn people, like the kings. He basically killed every damn body, and there was nobody left to fight him. And he sat down and cried because there was nobody else left to fight him. He didn't have a challenge, He wound up slaying all the damn kings and their armies, He was just like, well, fuck it, who else? Who's next? He was the original Goldberg. He's like, who's next? But ain't nobody else was next. So he just sat there. He sat down and cried. Verse 4, and he gathered a mighty, strong host and ruled over countries and nations and kings who became tributaries unto him. Okay? Just like unto today. You got these damn Edomites ruling over the whole damn planet Earth, and everybody got to pay tributary or taxes unto him. Okay? And after these things, he fell sick and perceived he should die. And, this was in a short span of time. I believe it was 12 years. I think it said in here somewhere, or if not, it might just be in history, that, this whole conquest only lasted 12 years from the time his father died to the time he died. He wound up subduing the whole damn planet in these 12 years, And shit, we've been in Iraq and Afghanistan and shit like that fighting for way longer than 12 years, And, supposedly the story that they want us to believe that we can't even subdue that little area. We're not even fighting the military. We're fighting some rebels in caves and shit, But nevertheless, it says, and after these things he fell sick and perceived he should die. Whereupon he called his servants and such as were honorable and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them while he was yet alive. Okay, so basically he was, on his deathbed or whatever. He had his childhood friends he was growing up with, his mans and them and shit, and he basically took his kingdom because, like I said, he took over a whole large portion of that part of the earth at that point in time. You can go look up under Google search and look up the Grecian Empire, or Greece under the rule of Alexander the Greek. It was a pretty big area, So he wound up, he was on his deathbed. He was like, all right, I'm gonna break it down and give this to my 4 kings, Verse 7. So Alexander reigned 12 years, then died. Yeah. See, he reigned. So when he took over Greece to the time he died was 12 years, This whole deal only lasted for 12 years. And then when you read about it, Daniel, Daniel say he seen this beast like a leopard. It ran so fast his feet didn't even touch the damn ground. Okay? That's Alexander that they talking about. He ran through these damn nations so quick his feet never did touch the ground, By the time he stepped foot into your damn landmass, he was stepping foot up out of there and already took all the spoils. By the time you realized he was coming up against you and you was starting to prepare your army and shit, he had already, wiped your ass out, In 12 years, he done ran through and murked every damn body, you know what I'm saying? It says, and his servants, verse 7, so Alexander reigned 12 years and then died. And his servants bare rule, everyone in his place. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves, so did their sons after them many years. And evils were multiplied in the earth. Okay? So, again, this is the border, the border of wickedness here. You know what I'm saying? The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. And it happened. This happened. And how it ended here says, after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves, so that their sons after them many years, and evils was multiplied on the earth. Earth given into the hand of the wicked, the border of wickedness, and evils were multiplied on the earth. Okay, it's all one and one. It's just talking about the same people. When these Edomites came up out their damn cave, this was the damn devil that was, basically running amok on the planet Earth. Yeah. Okay. Right. Verse 10. And there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus the king, who had been hostage at Rome, and he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks. In those days went out of Israel wicked men. Okay, so you got the damn wicked over top, ruling, and now you got our people further going off. Okay, so in those days there went out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, "Let us go and make a covenant with them, with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow." So this device pleased them well. Then certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinance of the heathen. Okay, so let me just keep reading. Whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the customs of the heathen, and made themselves uncircumcised, and forsook the holy covenant, and joined themselves to the heathen, and were so to do mischief. So when this heathen goddamn came into play, he caused our people to start going off even further than what we already were, and our people, like the Most High said, went from mountain to a hill. We just started regressing over and over and over again because this goddamn heathen was over top of us. We're going to get into some more of his wickedness. Verse 41. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people, and like this new world order homeboy trying to get in the Tower of Babel, you know? Tower of Babel was Nimrod and them, but, you know, Esau trying to do the same ass shit, you know, with this one world government, one world currency, one world religion type of shit, you know? Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people, and everyone should leave his laws, so all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion, and sacrificed unto idols, and profaned the Sabbath. So this wicked ass nigga then basically had our people to go off to come unto this one religion, you know? And had our people goddamn basically worshiping some heathenistic rituals, you know? Had our people going way off. Yea, many of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath. For the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah that they should follow the strange laws of the land, and forbid burnt offerings, sacrifices, and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbath and festival days and pollute the sanctuary and holy people. Set up altars and groves and the chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts. Okay? So basically, you know, homeboy then instituted this new religion that had us going off, you know, all day long. Just like you see today with that 501c3 instituting their own religion, blocking certain things from being read in the scriptures, you know, keeping our people more and more docile. You know, Esau keep doing the same ass shit even unto this day, you know. Says that they should also leave their children uncircumcised and make their souls abominable with all manner of cleanliness and profanation. Basically, you raising your kids up not knowing the law, statutes, and commandments. Look, don't teach your kids that they shouldn't be eating pork. You know, don't teach your kids that they don't need to be edging themselves up and shit like that. You know, don't teach your kids that they can't be sleeping with another man's woman. They can sleep with whoever they want to sleep with. You know. Verse 49, to the end that they might forget the law and change all the ordinances, like I just was saying. And whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, he said he should die. Okay? So, if you don't want to bow down to Esau, more or less to say, like in today's times, if you don't want to take that mark of the beast micro RFID chip, your ass going to get put to death. If you don't subscribe to his one religion, your ass getting put to death. And you see? His spirit is the same spirit that was back then. It's the same spirit today. In the same manner wrote he to his whole kingdom and appointed overseers over all the people, commanding the cities of Judah to sacrifice city by city. And who's giving these permits and these 501c3s that our people will go and set up these goddamn harlot houses or these churches in our own neighborhood to further destroy our people? Verse 52. That many of the people were gathered unto them, to wit everyone that forsook the law. And so they committed evils in the land, and they drove the Israelites into secret places, even wheresoever they could flee, whosoever they could flee for succor. Now the 15th day of the month, Shalu, in the 145th year, they set up the abomination of desolation upon the altar and builded the idol altars throughout the cities of Judah on every side. Going back into the earth is given to the hands of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, who and where is he? We reading of the account right here. Homeboy, we about to get into it right now. How homeboy basically ripping up the damn Bible and causing them to go away from the law, statutes, commandments, instituting a new religion that they gonna all follow, covering the faces of the judges, you know. Verse 55, and burnt incense at the doors of the houses and in the street. And when they had rent in pieces the book of the law which they found, and burnt them with fire, and whosoever was found with any of the book of the testament, or if any committed to the law, the king's commandment was that they should put him to death. So basically, they went through and was burning Bibles and tearing them all up, you know. And if they found your ass with the Bible or keeping the laws or teaching that, your ass was going to get put to death. Shit. Verse 58. Thus did they by their authority unto the Israelites every month, to as many as was found in the cities. Month after month, they was going through seeing who had a Bible, who was reading and keeping the laws and killing their ass, you know. Same shit is going on today, you know. Shit, we about to get into it. Project Megiddo and the King Alpha Plan, Rex 84, you know. He has laws set up for this, you know, to do the exact same thing he did back in the olden days. Now the 5th and 25th day of the month, they did sacrifice upon the idol altar, which was upon the altar of Yahweh. At which time, according to the commandment, they put to death certain women that had caused their children to be circumcised, and hanged the infants about their necks, and rifled their houses, and slew them that had circumcised them. So basically, you know, these women who was trying to raise their kids up keeping the law, you know what I'm saying, and circumcising them, they was killing the damn women and the children. They was hanging the babies and killing the women. Howbeit, many in Israel were fully resolved and confirmed in themselves not to eat any unclean thing. Wherefore, the rather to die, that they might not be defiled with meats, that they might not profane the holy covenant, so they died. So some, you know, the men of the Lord at this point in time, they was just like, you know what, fuck it, death before dishonor, you know. We'll go ahead and take this here L and die before we take an L to the Most High and dishonor him, and then he kill our ass for real, you know. And there was very great wrath upon Israel. Okay.
It's the book of Revelation, chapter 17. Let me just read verse 1 and 2. And there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying, Come hither, and I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore which sitteth upon many waters. Okay, now this great whore we're talking about is Babylon the Great, you know, and who is basically the head or the king of Babylon the Great, you know, is basically speaking here about of Esau, you know. Let me get this real quick. Verse 6. Verse 4. Yeah, verse 4.
It's Isaiah 14:4. Thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon, and say, How has the oppressor ceased, the golden city ceased? Okay, so this is talking about the king of Babylon, all right, and the golden city. You know, when you read down into this, it's basically talking about Esau, you know. Yeah, this is just basically all talking about Esau here. Let's get back into Revelation.
It says, And there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, and I will show thee the judgment of the great whore which sitteth upon many waters. So again, that great whore is Babylon the Great. The king of Babylon the Great, you know, and all his representation is Edomites, okay? So we here talking about the Edomites and the shit that they was doing, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. So again, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked, you know. He the one causing everybody to go off. And it also says here, with whom the kings of the earth committed fornication. So you got all these other kings basically fucking around with you, more or less to say, you know what I'm saying, following after the shit that you got going on, causing them to go off, you know. It's like that, you know, they use the perfect analogy. It's like that bum ass whore that you all, how you say, you all in a trance because of her pussy power, more or less to say, you know. You don't realize that she over here draining your ass, running your ass through, you know. But you over here, man, she got some good box, you know. This is that, but you don't really see what's going on. You being drunk, you being drunk basically by her box, you know. You over here just getting the box all day long. You don't realize that you spending more and more time with this chick. Now you getting late for work or whatever. Now you know you got fired from your job, or you know, you let her hold your credit card, debit card. She's running all kind of shit up, whatever, whatnot, you know. You basically fucking around with this bitch that ain't doing nothing but fucking you over, you know, leaving you in a worse state that you in. Same with what they talking about here.
all these other countries that started to deal with America, trying to fuck with America or Esau, they wound up being fucked over in the end, you know. It says, with whom the kings of the earth committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. And being drunk with her wine, you know, made all the nations drunk with her wine. For instance, you know, the LGBTQ whatever community, you know. Now Esau pushing that on everybody. Now the whole earth is getting drunk with that shit, you know, and now the whole earth about to become like Sodom and Gomorrah. Now the Most High got to come down and destroy the whole earth because of that, you know. Not the planet, but you know the inhabitants thereof, you know, because this nigga done got everybody else drunk, and now you got all these drunk motherfuckers, and you know you in a car, you know you and your 4 friends in the car, you got a designated driver. Now the other 3 friends and decided to get the 4th driver drunk, you know the 4th person drunk. Now everybody in the car drunk. Now y'all get pulled over, y'all ain't got nobody to goddamn drive for you, you know. You done made everybody drunk now. Next precept is in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 50. Jeremiah 50 and 23. I'll just start there. It says, Jeremiah 50 and 23. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How has Babylon become a desolation among the nations? Okay, and so we just wanted to get into the hammer of the whole earth. Okay, what does a hammer do? Break in pieces. You know, you take a hammer and you bang shit up with it. You know, you know, I mean, you could build a house with it, but more or less you causing a striking force. You know, you banging some shit up with it. You know, how is the hammer of the earth cut asunder and broken? The hammer of the whole earth. Who is beating the earth small? Who is beating the whole earth down and all the people thereof? Esau, you know, him and his military and his drones and his GMOs, his chemtrails, his pollution, his factories and shit like that. Esau is the hammer of the earth who's pounding the whole earth down and all the people, you know. Let me jump down. This Jeremiah 50 and verse 31. It says, Behold, I am against thee, O most proud, saith Yahweh, power of hosts. For the day is come, and the time that I will visit thee. And the most proud shall stumble and fall, and none shall raise him up. And I will kindle a fire in his cities, and it shall devour all round about him. So a couple things we want to pull out. Basically, one main thing. Behold, I am against thee, O most proud, and O most proud. So he called him most proud twice, okay? And he just kept going into that. Let me grab this precept real quick. It's the book of Obadiah, chapter 1, I think it's verse 3. Obadiah 1 and 3. The pride of thy heart has deceived thee. Okay? So it says, you know, the pride of thy heart. This man is most proud, you know? This is the man who's talking about, he gonna sit, you know, in the seat of the Most High. He gonna be the Most High. You know, him and his pride, he all fucked up, you know? Next scripture we're going to get is Isaiah chapter 14, verse 6. It says, we was just here. We can, we'll just read it over again. It says, Isaiah 14 and 4, actually. It says, Isaiah 14:4. Thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, How has the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. Okay, the king of Babylon is a mighty oppressor. Okay, and he's the head of the golden city. So if he's the head of the golden city, and the earth is given into the hands of him, he's oppressing everybody that's beneath him. And if he on top of everybody beneath him, the hammer of the whole earth, you know, the basically the great oppressor. Jump down to verse 6. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted and none hindereth. The homeboy is basically like the hammer of the earth. He continually just pounding the fuck out of people, you know, beating their ass small with a continual stroke, you know, oppressing every damn body. We get into this last atrocity, you know, that homeboy done did, because you know this nigga done did some crazy shit, man. This is the book of Joel chapter 3. Start at verse 3. And they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for a harlot, and sold a girl for wine that they might drink. Okay? One thing off rip, you know. Let me just read it all the way through, and we'll go back through this. Verse Joel 3 and 3. And they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for a harlot, and sold a girl for wine that they might drink. Yea, and what do you have to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coast of Palestine? Will you render me a recompense? And if you recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own head? Because you have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things, the children of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have you sold unto the Grecians, that you might remove them far from their borders. Okay? Now this is talking about the transatlantic slave trade here. This is the shit Esau was into. It says they cast lots for my people. They have given a boy for a harlot and sold a girl for wine. Okay, so in the transatlantic slave trade, what was going on, they were selling boys basically for homosexuality. You know, they was lubing them all up and selling little boys. I can't think of the movie, but they have a old school movie that depicts all of this, you know. And also it says, and sold a girl for wine that they might drink, you know. One of the things they was trading was I believe it was rum. There was some sort of alcohol they was trading, you know, and also muskets and stuff like that, you know. And it also says, what do you have to do with me, O Tyre, Zidon, and the coast of Palestine? Basically, these are you're talking about these Africans who wound up rounding our ass up, you know. They rounded us up. Esau wound up buying us, you know. Verse 5, because you have taken my silver and my gold and carried them into your temples, into your temple, my goodly pleasant things. Basically, you didn't hijack my shit and put it up. You didn't stole the pictures and the furniture out of my house and put it up in your house, you know. And the silver and the gold he's talking about is broken down in verse 6. The children of Judah and the children of Jerusalem, so, you know, the northern and the southern kingdom, the kingdom of Israel and the kingdom of Judah, have you sold unto the Grecians that ye might remove them far from their borders. Okay? Talking about, you know, the Africans, they sold them, it says, they sold them basically unto the Grecians, you know, the Edomites. You know, we just read about how, basically Alexander, how it happened, you know, when he was the first over Greece, you know, that's who we were sold to, you know. This is your history, you know. It says you were sold by the Africans sold you unto the Grecians. You still under the authority of the Grecians to today, you know. The Grecians morphed into the Romans morphed into the Europeans morphed into the Americans, same people, just different names. And we still in captivity up under them. At this point in time, we was called the children of, or the house of Judah, the kingdom of Judah at that point in time, you know, and the kingdom of Israel. But today they call us Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, you know. But yet we still in captivity under the same people. The only thing changed was the date on the calendar, the time on your watch, and the names they call us by. Everything else is the same, you know. Yeah, and that was it. We're going to just go ahead and end off on there, you know. We just want to touch on some of the wickedness that Esau did, you know. Because Esau, you know, Esau's a vile-ass beast, you know. And he got a whole lot of wickedness. You know, we can go into stuff that he did in today's times, like back in, you know, what we read about in the Bible and all day long, you know. But nevertheless, just touching on some of his damn wickedness, you know. So with that, we're going to go ahead and end it off there. Lord willing, this was edifying. I want to say, call halal Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shah. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone that rule well. Salutations to the elect that's pushing this truth on the four corners of the earth. Shalom.